Welcome to Superstitions and Traditions, our podcast about history.
Weird things.
All the weird stuff.
Right. We love the weird stuff.
I know, and there's so much.
There is.
So much weird stuff happening out there.
Right.
I'm Kristen.
And I'm Carol.
And this is the very first episode of season 2. Woo! We made it a whole year.
We did.
I didn't know I had that kind of attention span.
Didn't know you had it in you.
I didn't. I had no idea.
But here we are.
But here we are.
You like to do the homework.
I love the homework.
Yes.
I love homework.
And here we are.
So this is Superstitions.
Let's hear it.
And today we're going to talk about fortune telling.
No, we're not.
Everybody needs to know their future.
What do you see? I need to wash my hands?
We're going to talk about palmistry.
Ooh, okay.
You have a line.
I do.
And you have a line.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a line that wise.
Mm-hmm.
And all of that is telling me stuff.
That I have skin on my hand.
Uh-huh.
It's important.
If you have skin on your hands and see, you have a heart and a head.
I do.
And a wife. There you go.
You should charge for that.
I did so good with
Wealthy.
my palmistry. Yeah.
Hi,
So
girls.
there, that is how that works. And see, look, I also have a heart and a head and a life.
Marvelous. We're practically twins.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess down here, that's when my life ends.
When you run off the edge of the page.
When you run off the edge of the hand. Not
Okay.
the page, the hand.
Well, it's kind of the page. Reading the story of your life.
I don't get it.
What if you don't have a hand? What if that got cut off in the war? How do you tell your future then? Are you supposed to
don't.
take that thing along
I guess
with you?
maybe your foot.
I don't think so.
Maybe there's hearts and heads in the sole of your feet. I don't know. I don't ever look at mine. I don't know what's happening
Not
down
really?
there.
No?
No. I know they're claustrophobic.
Your feet are?
Yeah.
Okay. That's why they don't like to be in shoes?
Uh-huh. That's all I know about them.
Okay.
And I never see the bottom of them.
Okay.
So, I don't know. It's probably really dirty because I'm always barefoot.
Pig.
I know.
Out in the country.
Out in the country, in the middle of
Yes.
nowhere, running through the grass and the dirt.
Chasing the dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And getting bit
On occasion.
with a dog fight.
On occasion.
Once in a while.
Just a few stitches and several rounds of antibiotics.
Right. And some shots and
Everything's fine.
Yeah. Big scar.
Big, nasty, ugly scar.
All right, let's hear it.
Makes for a good story.
It does. And here we've told
And
it.
here we've told it. So,
The
I
end.
didn't show the scar.
No.
That's all right, though. So, fortune telling stems from the belief that the universe follows patterns that can be interpreted. I mean, it doesn't make sense to me. And I have no desire whatsoever to know my future.
Maybe you just don't know the patterns that you're looking for.
I don't. And I don't understand how the universe has the same pattern that the universe follows, but it's different for every person. So tell me how that works.
Because we are all individuals, but we all deal with Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday. So the following
Not all
Monday,
of us deal with them. Some of us sleep through them.
But, well, then that's what your fortune is to have slept through Monday.
But do you need somebody to look at your hand and tell you you're going to sleep through Monday?
Probably.
Okay.
Perhaps.
All right.
Why are you being so difficult?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Okay.
Read.
All right.
Let's hear it.
So the word fortune comes from the Latin word fortuna.
Fortuna.
And it was the name given to a Roman goddess of happiness and success.
All right.
So she is depicted wearing a blindfold.
Okay.
Or having her eyes closed sometimes, usually a blindfold. She's also holding or standing on a wheel.
Maybe she's sleepy. She's got her eyes closed.
She doesn't want to see things. She just wants to sense them.
Oh, I see.
She's holding or standing on a wheel, which is where we get the idea of the Wheel of Fortune.
Not the game show?
Not the game show.
Well, I mean...
It came from that. I don't think my Wheel of Fortune has money on it. Probably a lot of bankruptcy. I don't know.
That could be.
I haven't filed yet, but
Well, good. Do you plan on it in the future?
no.
Okay. Well, I mean,
No, I
Thought
have
I'd
an
ask.
aversion to debt, so I'm allergic to it.
aren't we all?
Yes. Um, the ancient Greeks used a casting system to determine their fortune. It was dice that they cast 3 times, and they used the numbers to correspond with Homer's poetry to answer questions. So whatever the number was, they'd look up whatever poem and count the lines, and that was the answer to the question they were asking.
Fun.
I don't know why Homer got to be in charge, but
I don't know. He must have been popular in school.
he probably was.
Yes, on the football team or
Whatever, yeah.
something like that.
I'm sure.
You're like, let's
Like
just,
the captain.
what the dude says.
Mhm.
We'll do this.
Ancient Egypt had a similar way of determining the future.
Okay.
They had a list of 92 questions.
92.
Yes.
That's pretty specific.
So this comes from I don't know, when I was doing the research, they referred to it as a fortune-telling kit. But it was an ancient document that like had it all spelled out for them that
Okay.
they discovered. Apparently was found in
Okay.
Cairo.
Okay.
But it had 92 questions on it that corresponded with things happening like
Did the sun rise today?
will my
Is it
wife and
raining?
I be happy, or will I get married, or will I be successful? Just your everyday questions people ask fortune tellers. There were 92 of them.
Okay.
So they would choose the
Interesting.
question that most resembled the situation they were asking about.
Okay.
And then they would pick a number. They would add the number to the number of the question.
Mm-hmm.
And then there were 1,030 possible responses. So,
To every
The-
question.
no.
Okay.
The 92 questions, 1,030 answers.
Okay.
So you add the 2, and then you picked the number of the answer that corresponded with your
So
magic number you picked.
Confusing.
I know. But that is how they determined. There were other ways. These were, I don't know. This is just something they did for fun.
Oh, it sounds like a hoot.
It sounds like a hoot, yeah.
Okay.
Ancient China used bone oracles.
Okay.
So they would burn bones and then interpret the cracks in the bones after they were burned.
Whose bones did we use? Just any bones and hope they pertain to us?
That's, yeah,
Okay.
animal bones.
What if you've got a KFC next door? You just,
Then you can divine all sorts of information because you got plenty of bones.
okay. Okay. So many places to go with that.
I
I don't
know.
even know where to start.
I know it. They also had another method that was similar to the Greeks and the Egyptians where they had a text and they used yarrow stalks.
Why?
Well, they would like cast them.
Oh, okay.
And then the shape of them corresponded with a hexagram to give the answer.
Sounds like a big board game.
That's basically, I mean, all of these sounded like board games.
Yeah, it kind of does.
So,
I mean, I love board games.
I mean, I do too.
Why not?
This,
I don't want to throw bones.
I don't
for
want
my-
to burn
I mean,
them. I bet
yeah.
it smells bad.
I bet it does. Give me some dice.
If I need to throw stalks
I will
of
throw them.
yarrow, you got to do something with it after you use the yarrow. So,
Put it in the trash?
or play a board game called I Ching.
No,
All right.
that's not. I mean, that's not what I would use yarrow for.
No, that is not what yarrow makes. Yarrow is used for a lot of good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But then after you've ground the flour and in your little mortar and pestle and you have used it for its medicinal purposes, what do you do with the rest of it? You cast it. And then you look at the hexagram.
Okay. I was going to say we put it in a drawer for another day. But if you need to know your fortune today, then I suppose you better use it.
Why do people want to know? I don't want to know. I just want to float through and
So they
see
have
what
the illusion
happens.
of control.
But it doesn't. I mean, if
you know this is coming on Tuesday, then you can avoid it.
But if you know this is coming on Tuesday,
Mm-hmm.
how do you have control?
Because you know it's coming. And then you can
And then
go
what?
You can go left instead of going right.
But it's
I
still
would
coming.
go on this way. So today I'll go this way.
I am a big believer in intuition
Mm-hmm.
and gut feelings
Well, for sure.
and signs. But I mean, I am a firm believer in divine signs, feathers, and animals crossing your path and things like that all mean something, I believe. But it doesn't predict the future. It's just to tell you you're on the right path, or
Well, apparently you're not reading it right.
I guess not. So,
Mm-hmm.
during the Middle Ages,
Okay. More
when-
Middle Ages.
yes, Christianity is spreading,
Mm-hmm.
which is actually Catholicism at this time, but
Mm-hmm.
it is spreading, and they don't really want you talking to pagan gods and things like that.
Yeah, no.
They think it is naughty.
Yeah.
So, in order to align with those beliefs, but still do their divination, all of these lists
Mm-hmm.
and Homer's poetry
Oh,
was
yes.
replaced with the Bible. So then they just pick numbers and open the Bible and, this verse works. God is telling me I'm going to die on Tuesday. But not
God does
really.
not tell you such things.
But not really.
No, you can open it up and you can read, and sometimes
Yeah.
it will pertain to your life today, and sometimes it's just some good wisdom.
But it is never your fortune.
No.
The Catholic Church was still like, no, let's not do that.
No.
They condemned it.
But they do things like that.
They do. So this is happening. There's also other methods.
Mm-hmm.
One of the most common one that everybody has made reference to at some points in their life.
Is the Ouija board.
No.
Oh.
That is to communicate with the dead, not to tell your
well,
future.
yeah, but I mean, if you can get the dead to tell you your future, then you've cut out the middleman. I don't know. I thought that's where we were going. Where are we going?
We're going to crystal balls.
Okay.
We have all seen the crystal ball.
Mm-hmm.
Pliny the Elder.
Oh, God. More Pliny.
I love him.
I know you do.
Him and his nephew.
And the younger.
The younger.
Yes.
He made reference in the 1st century of soothsayers using a
Why?
crystal ball. Apparently, it was naughty.
Mm-hmm.
It was okay to consult Homer's poetry.
And bones.
And, well, that was China.
I'm just saying.
But, yeah.
Maybe they did use bones. They just didn't
Perhaps.
tell anybody.
Perhaps.
Because, that's my secret. That's how I tell the future. Not you. Me.
Right. That is my future. You leave it
Mhm.
alone.
You stay over there.
Apparently, they were not okay with the use of crystal balls.
Well, I can't imagine.
But it was referenced then in the 1st century.
Okay.
Where did they find crystal balls? Everywhere.
I guess.
Everywhere, that's where.
Okay.
It was also common in the 3rd century. This Celtic Druids began using crystal balls.
You said Celtic. You didn't,
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, you didn't say
Not the
Celtics.
basketball players.
No, not the basketball team.
Although I'm sure if they thought they could use a crystal ball to predict whether or not they were going to win.
No, they use a bouncy ball.
It is not crystal.
No.
They don't
want to
bounce.
throw that thing.
That's hard. That would hurt when it hit
Probably
you.
would. Be hard to score.
Uh-huh.
I'm telling you.
And dribble.
Mhm.
They don't bounce.
They don't bounce. No.
So they used beryl stones, which are really pretty.
Okay.
It's also called morganite sometimes.
Okay.
that they would polish and shape into a sphere to divine answers.
Ooh.
Gaze into the crystal ball.
Ah, fancy.
I have lots of rocks.
I know.
I have lots of beryl.
Mm.
It has never told me nothing.
It hasn't whispered secrets. Maybe you're not using it right.
Maybe I don't gaze hard enough.
That's it. And maybe just like cover one eye.
And squint.
Could be, yes.
But yes. So, when we talk about, let me look at my crystal ball, we're referencing the Celtic Druids.
Fabulous.
Yes. Many other cultures used reflective or polished surfaces for divination as well, and it's called scrying. Scrying has been around forever.
Okay.
In lots and lots of cultures. Until the Catholic Church condemned that as well, because they were just killjoys.
Big condemners.
Yes. Yes.
Yep. Because all you need is God.
Apparently.
You don't need a shiny rock to tell you things.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably demonic and evil, and just talk to God.
See, I have crystal balls right there. Teeny tiny ones.
I can't see anything.
I can't either. That's moonstone. I mean, I see flashes of color. That's beryl.
Okay. Did you wear that specifically for today's event?
No, I wore it specifically because they're always on my wrist.
Okay. I didn't know if we were warming up or
No.
what we're doing.
No, and maybe those are just too small to see the future.
But you have lots of them.
I mean, maybe if you
like rub them together.
Maybe I can see like 2 minutes in advance, but what's the point in that?
Well, if you're in the car, maybe it's a good thing to
Could
know.
be.
Yeah.
Could be. Scrying was used by lots of cultures, as well as this board game shuffle throw the dice thing.
Right.
Anything reflective was used to scry. Obsidian was a big one.
Oh, sure.
They made mirrors and stuff out of it. They would scry in mirrors. Also, Nostradamus.
Way back.
Who some believe were made predictions of like the French Revolution and Hitler and the World Trade Center, and none of that is true. If
and
you've
his
ever
own death and
right.
the day his grave got robbed and
and if you've ever read any of his poetry, like that was a reach. And the World Trade Center one was completely made up. The poem that is
I bet
quoted,
he threw bones and then he knew.
No, he scried.
No, it was probably bones too.
Okay, maybe.
You never know.
But
anyway,
you never know. You don't. He was a poet, and his poetic quatrains are now used to predict the future after the fact.
Fun.
Every time.
Okay.
Because they're like, you know what? I read this one time on a
And
poem book by this guy who lived centuries ago, and he told us about this, but how come you didn't stop it then?
Because you didn't know that that's what it was about.
Exactly.
How can you know where it is when you only
Well, you
have
know
a
what? If
few
he
specifics?
was going to go to all the trouble of predicting the future for us,
He can't do all of it. You need to be responsible for some of
maybe
it.
he should have just come out and said it
No.
instead of writing a pretty poem about it
No.
that we had to interpret after the fact.
No. I don't think that's it.
Nobody did.
Or some other things.
But he loved to scry.
Mm.
He loved to scry. That's how he wrote his poems.
Okay.
Yeah. Another popular way, still to this day, to divine the future is with palmistry or chiromancy. Is another word for palmistry. I don't know.
Why are you trying to be confusing?
I don't know.
Trying to throw out big words that nobody's ever heard of. I'm not certain you didn't make that up.
I probably did.
I think you might have.
No. So the origin of palmistry is unknown.
Oh. What if somebody slapped somebody else and then they had a vision of like their death because you've attacked me and slapped me and then I read your palm?
That's called a concussion.
Yeah, I mean, do you get a concussion if somebody hits you with their hand?
I mean, if they do it hard enough, yeah.
If I've got like a pot in my hand, you're not going to see my...
You're not going to see the palm.
No.
When it's up against the side of your head, you're not going to see the palm.
Maybe in slow motion. We should try it.
Let's not today. Let's not today.
I'm going to pop you.
Alexander the Great.
Fantastic.
He used palmistry.
I'll bet.
To determine the character of his officers.
Oh, did he slap them and see what happened?
I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, that's probably how. If they were slapping him, he knew that their character was not nice.
No, I'm the boss. Get out.
And if you're going to hit me with that palm, I know you got bad character.
There you go. Did he have like his own palm reader he brought in and then got to read your palm and tell me things and then you're either in or you're out?
Yep, basically. That's,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anaxagoras was a Greek philosopher.
Okay. Who is that?
His name is Anaxagoras. He studied and taught.
I don't think his mom liked him very much. He probably didn't know how to spell that until he was 26 years old.
I'm sure. And he needed 3 tablets to write it all, or carve it all.
Lots of letters.
He was the first to give an accurate description of what an eclipse is.
Oh.
He also studied and taught the philosophy that everything is in everything. So he's the one that kind of figured out there are atoms and molecules that make up
tiny things, make up bigger things.
Yeah. He believed that the cosmic nous, or intellect, ordered everything in the cosmos. So, like, there was intellect happening. This tiny little piece gets with this tiny little piece to make all these big... That was him.
Okay.
He also believed in palmistry. And
what made him believe in it? Didn't find that in your research?
No.
Didn't care enough to look further?
Didn't care enough to look further.
Carol will want to know this, but screw her. We're just going to keep going.
Yep. There is speculation that palmistry originated in India. However, they're not real sure of where it originated. It just was.
Okay.
It gained popularity from the Romani, the gypsies.
Oh, okay.
Who were from India.
And traveled.
And traveled.
As gypsies do.
Yes.
Gotcha.
So the Romani began their migration through Europe in the 9th century. They reached Spain, Germany, Bulgaria, France around the 1400s. They brought palmistry with them.
Okay.
They reached England in the 1500s and the U.S. in the late 16 to early 1700s, and bringing crystal balls and their divination practices with them. But
shiny things.
And shiny things. But their main one was palmistry.
Okay. That's not very shiny.
No.
I mean,
It was considered one of the 7 forbidden arts.
Okay.
During the Renaissance, it was like completely outlawed. However, witch hunters used palmistry to determine if a person was a witch during the Middle Ages.
Used witchcraft to determine witches.
Yes, until the Catholic Church said, that is silly.
Yep.
And counterintuitive.
Quit using the thing to find out the thing.
Right.
If you keep using it, we're going to have to drown you too.
Exactly.
Okay.
So that was a no.
Oh, I see.
Then they had to come up with
something else,
other methods to determine.
Big rocks.
Yeah.
Okay.
We still use palmistry today.
Okay.
Another way we tell the future is with tarot cards.
We've done that. Well, we don't play with tarot cards.
We don't play with tarot cards,
But we
have
address them.
discussed tarot cards before.
And the number 13 is, death.
Yeah, the death card is the number 13.
Card. Of course it is.
So, but
nothing makes as much sense as that.
Exactly. Tarot cards originated in Italy.
Okay.
In the late 1300s to the mid 1400s. They were not used for divination. It was a game played by nobility. They would have the cards specifically painted because, printing press and all of that wasn't around. Yeah. So they were hand painted. That's why only the wealthy had them. They were used for gambling. There was a game called Tarocchini, which was a gambling game you did with these cards.
Okay.
And they called the cards Tarocchi cards.
Is that like poker?
Kinda.
Okay.
I think what I read was it was closer to like bridge.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I remember right.
You probably do.
In the mid 1400s, so the deck was a deck of 4 suited cards. When we think of them, we think of cups, swords, and then there's 2 other ones. But it's similar to
diamonds, hearts, spades, clubs.
Well, that's our playing cards
that's
now.
Us, yeah.
Yes.
But they had 4 suits as well.
Yes.
Okay.
So they had 4 suits of cards. And then in the mid 1400s, additional cards were added to the deck, which is the major arcana, the death card, the Wheel of Fortune, the Fool. They were numbered 1 through 21, and the Fool was number 22, but it was not numbered.
You just knew it was 22.
Apparently, they didn't. I don't know why they didn't number that one, but it's not numbered.
It's like your ace can be high or low.
Yeah.
Just a thing you know, but it doesn't really jump out there at you.
I guess.
Okay.
I don't know why the Fool couldn't have a number on his card, but he could not.
He could not be trusted with it because
probably not because he's a fool.
Foolish.
Yes. They weren't used for divination until the 18th century, when a Frenchman named Jean-Baptiste Alliette developed an interpretation for each of the cards.
So he took cards and
he took their deck and was like, you know what, I think this one means, and he wrote a book about it.
And this is more fun if we add things to it. Draw this card and it means death. Or it means you're going to have company.
No. Actually, the death card doesn't actually mean that you're going to die. It means a part of your life is going to change. It is death to something, but not you necessarily.
Interesting.
It's not actually a bad thing unless you're really happy about this particular part of your life. I know far too much about tarot cards for somebody who doesn't believe in them.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
It's all the studying and the reading and the writing.
And then the tower. The tower, that means something life-changing is happening in your life. Tell me how that makes sense.
Because things change.
But why is it a tower? If I'm locked in a tower, ain't nothing's changing.
It didn't say you were locked.
Oh, that's true. Somebody just built a tower in the middle of my road, I guess.
And you have to go around it.
And now I have to go around it. Got to
or
change
you could
things
dig
up.
a hole and go underneath it. Or you could climb over the top of it.
Maybe I can fly.
I bet you could.
Maybe I can teleport around it.
I think you should give that a try.
I'm gonna.
Okay.
Been working on it for years.
Let us know how that goes.
So he began this in 1783 and perfected it in 1785.
Is it perfected though?
According to him.
Okay. So it all works out exactly the way he says it should. All the things happen. Perfect.
Apparently.
I don't buy it.
I don't either.
Okay.
And there are so many different decks now.
Oh, I'm sure.
that
You give people time to think about it.
Yeah.
They'll come up with all kinds of interesting things.
So
Yeah.
that is the history of fortune telling.
Fun.
It is. Some little guy in France in the 1780s saw a board game or a card game and was like, I think that means you're going to die.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody was like, that makes a whole lot of sense.
Yep. Even if it's 35 years from now, you called it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. You knew?
A lot of historical figures.
Mm-hmm.
Alexander the Great, obviously. Josephine Bonaparte.
Oh.
She was...
Did she see the end coming for Napoleon?
She went to a fortune teller when she was in the Caribbean as a child.
Mm-hmm.
And that fortune teller told her that she would have 2 marriages. The first one would produce 2 children and he would die.
Mm-hmm.
And then her second marriage would make her the empress of everything.
True enough.
And she believed that her whole life. When she ends up in France, goes on believing this. Well, she was involved with people after her husband died. He was executed during the French Revolution. She almost was as well. So at first she thought this person she was involved with, she had made really good connections. This person she was involved with after the death of her husband was going to be this emperor. Well, he ended up not. Anyway, a roundabout way, she ends up with Napoleon Bonaparte. Can't produce an heir. Their marriage is annulled. He is in love with her for the rest of his life. She's in love with him for the rest. Anyway, that was all a big thing. But she, in the meantime, had gone to several different fortune tellers who all told her the same thing. And she believed it. And for a minute, she was pretty much the empress of everything.
Yeah, pretty much.
So,
Pretty much.
Anyway, lots of people have used fortune tellers. It's a huge money-making industry.
Yeah, it is.
I don't want to know my future. But a lot of people do for some ungodly reason, I'm sure.
Okay.
And that is the end of that.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Now I'm in the know.
Now you're in the know.
I don't understand a lot of it, but...
It all has different words.
Well, sure.
Cartomancy.
Somebody decided to set bones on fire and then throw them. Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then look at the cracks in the bones. And that's going to tell you you're just like the cracks in your hand are going to tell you the future.
Just saying.
I don't know.
Whatever keeps us occupied, I suppose.
I guess. I just want to live life and be in control and get to make my decisions that shape my destiny and not it be preordained by the universe who follows a pattern.
And bones.
And bones.
Okay.
I don't know. Okay. So, anyway, that is what I know about divination and fortune telling. It started out as a board game that people
Played
seriously.
to Stella.
So,
Okay.
all right.
Good to know.
I know.
Awesome.
All right. Well,
Now
thank
we
you
know.
guys for listening
Yes.
to all of this. And we hope you come back. We've got new segments coming this season.
More weird
so
stuff.
Tune in
Come on down.
tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to talk about the Magdalene Laundries. The Magdalene Laundries in Dublin. Well, actually, they were all over, everywhere. But we're going to do a new segment called Point of View Historical Edition.
Fun.
And we are going to look at what life was like in the Magdalene Laundries for unwed mothers. So tune in for that.
Probably not great.
No, not great at all.
No.
All right.
All right, come back.
Come back.
See
She
us.
loves you.
I do.
I have a fondness.
She does.
The end.